All right, it's awesome. This is our last class for diversity. I will be going over and making a review session, and I will also go over a practice quiz with you all, just so you guys don't fail. Okay, so kingdom plants. We're gonna go through plants and animals today. Hopefully, you're familiar with both of these, as you probably should. You probably got taught a lot of this in grade 10. And if you remember any, it will be beneficial. So for the plants part, we're going to begin with algae. It's the evolutionary link between protists and plants. As we talked about protists last class, we knew that algae is like part protist, and some of them are plants. And we're going to take a look at red, brown, and also green. So, brown algae. Phaeophyta. Brown algae, like kelp, it can grow to absolutely incredible heights, and they are key components of marine life. Look at this. This is quite tall. All right. These organisms showcase the transformation from simple to complex life forms, and it literally shows diversity with early plant organisms. Now you can see the part. Hold fast. Stipe and blades. They don't have true leaves and roots, however, as they're just floating in water, and having too much water around your roots, you're probably going to die. As a plant, obviously. Now, red algae. Rhodophyta. Red algae thrive in tropical waters, and they can absorb light at greater depths thanks to their red pigments. They're much more smaller than brown algae, however, but still, they are a quite crucial part in the ecosystem, particularly in coral reef, as a lot of fish actually like this and they live in it. Green algae. Now we're going more to the plant-like. So green algae, they're green, of course. So what does that mean? That means they have chlorophyll, and they have cellulose cell walls and starch storage, just like any other plants. They're found in freshwater, ice, and sometimes even animal fur. They show adaptability and diversity of how just algae can be. Now we're going to look at this. This is basically a lot of plants, and essentially they're shifting towards the land. To survive, they needed protection from drying out, so they needed water transportation. So essentially they started developing all of these stems, and they started developing the xylem and phloem for food. And early plants, as you can see here, they were quite small. Alright, they didn't grow too high, and they confined to moist environments most of the time. Oh wait, that was the wrong side, but yeah, you get my point. So adaptations. There are a lot of adaptations of plants. So first we have plant embryos. They have the seed, obviously, to protect and nourish the embryo. And we have vascular tissue now. They're going to transport water and nutrients, and structures like leaves and roots, which allows the plant to photosynthesis. Now, plants also alternate between gametophyte and sporophyte generations, which allows basically diverse reproductive strategies. We're going to look at a couple of different types of plant. We're going to start with non-vascular plants. A good example of this is biophytes. They're non-vascular plants, obviously. They're like mosses, liverworts, or hornworts. They lack vascular tissue. They rely on diffusion and osmosis for water and nutrients to transport within them. They grow in mats to retain water and are really limited in height because they don't have anything that can transfer. They thrive in most moist environments, which is pretty good. Mosses, I just talked about it. They're short, they have vertical stems, and they have 1 cell thick leaves, making them well suited to bogs, tundras, and shaded areas. Sphagnum mosses, in particular, it plays a very vital role in the wetland ecosystem. Now, liverworts, they are heptophyta. They grow horizontally, as you can see. They are horizontal. They don't go up. They thrive in moist and shady environments like rock, trees, decaying wood, or whatever. They're basically there in those disturbed areas as they help to stabilize soil. Now, I went back. Hornworts. Hornworts are unique. They're a single they have only one single chloroplast per cell, and they're horn-shaped, sort of. But they grow in damp locations like tree trunks, riverbanks, but they have very limited diversity. Seedless vascular plants. With vascular tissue, these plants could go way taller, much more taller than those that do not have a vascular tissue. The sporophyte phase dominates their life cycle, while gametophytes are short-lived and require moisture to reproduce. Some Asian types, like fern, still exist today. Whisk ferns, Phyllotophyta. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but these things that you can see right off the bat, they don't have any leaves and roots. They're just there. They use photosynthesis right here in their stems, literally, and they grow in moist tropical environment and heavily rely on wind to disperse their spores. Well, that got cut off, but yeah, we'll continue. So, club mosses like Lycophyta, they're small plants with needle-like leaves, as you can see. They sting pretty much, and the wind disperse their spores. They thrive in woodland and tropical environments, resembling their Asian ancestors. Now, let me tell you this: you don't need to know all of these. You just need to know at least one per group, I guess. Horsetails. Horsetails are found in diverse environments. They're literally almost everywhere, and are easily recognized because they have these hollow stems that are literally hollow, and they're scaled like leaves. Their spores are released from the structure at the stem tips on top. Now we're going to talk about ferns. So ferns are highly adaptable. They are found in various environments, and just if you search up environment picture anywhere on Google, you have a 99% chance that all of these are going to contain a bit of ferns. They have roots, stemmed, and curled leaf that essentially they will unfurl and get together and go away and grow away from each other as they grow. Their reproductive cycle requires moisture, and actually they're also spore dispersion as well. So they don't disperse their own spores, but they rely on somebody else. Seed producing vascular plants. Now this is our third group, I believe. Seed producing vascular plants they could reproduce without water or reproduce without wind. Essentially, they make them very adaptable. Now, seeds allows for dormancy during unfavorable conditions. Basically, if you don't have wind, or you're not cold enough, or you're not warm enough, or there's no animals to eat you, and other methods, essentially. Gymnosperms. Alright, my bad. They're seeds on the surface of the cone scales. Examples could be conifers, cycads, ginkgos. They dominate in cool and alpine ecosystem. Thanks to their adaptations, the needle-like leaves that reduce water loss. And we can see here, very needle-like leaves, no water loss, essentially. We're gonna look at these, and now we're gonna look at reproduction of them. They use male corns, short and soft-lived. Sorry, soft and short-lived. What the hell? Alright, so these are wind dispersed to fertilize female cones because they have pollen. And this you would usually find on top. They're little green things and they're soft. And these ones are like hard and big and they're on the bottom, they're female. Alright, so they use pollen to transfer gametes. And the fertilized ovules develop into seeds, which are exposed on the corn scales. That is basically it. Alright, angiosperms. Angiosperms are flowering plants that literally make up maybe even higher than 90% of your plants and plant species, whatever. Their seeds are enclosed in the fruit. So like strawberries or tomatoes or anything that is coming from a seed is fruit. They protect them and aid in dispersal. They include non-coniferous trees, grass, weeds, whatever. Flowers. Now look, this is the lovely flower that you are supposed to learn in grade 10, I think. They have specialized structure for reproduction. They attract pollinators like insects, birds, bees, whatever. They contain both male and female reproductive organs, which increases their genetic diversity a lot. Ovary, stigma. Fruits. Now fruits are delicious, and I love fruits. Fruits protect seeds, basically, and there's different type of fruits. So some fruits they're built differently. So some fruits is used to attract animals. So animals eat them, and animals like digest them, and eventually animals gonna poop them out. They're gonna be pooped out, and with the poop that they pooped out, they have that fertilizer. And the animals, we assume that they need to move around to digest stuff. So I assume that they're pretty far away from their parents. So maybe baby mommy strawberry and daddy strawberry had a small strawberry, and a bear came along and ate that strawberry. The bear traveled around 2 or 20 kilometers and decided, oh no, he's going to poop, and he pooped the seeds out along with his fertilizer, and it essentially grows into a baby strawberry tree. Or I'm not sure if they come from trees, but it doesn't matter. So, or they could be born to cling onto furs. So when you go out on the soccer field or to play basketball, whatever, and you see your shoes, these stinky little things, congratulations, you just fertilized something. That's awesome. Monocots versus dicots. So we are eventually going to come back to this in the plants unit, but it's pretty important. So monocots has 1 leaves at the start. Dicots has 2. Veins in the leaves. Oh, I wish I had a picture, but okay, the next is animals. But you can see that they're very carefully arranged, and they look very, very parallel. They're like very great. And in dicots, maybe not. They're pretty horribly arranged. Now, vascular bundles and stems, you could see that in monocots they're scattered. In dicots, they're arranged in a ring. Flower parts, multiples of 3, multiples of 4 and 5. You kind of need to jot this down if you haven't, which is pretty important. Now let's move on to animals, the one that everybody loves. Now, what is an animal? Ooh, that is such a good question. Animals are classified based on characteristics, like having a backbone, or having a head, or having some brains, and they could also be classified on their level of organization. Humans were very organized. We always have a leader. Not in Canada, but usually. Their body symmetry, body cavities, segmentation, movement, reproductive strategies, whatever. All of these could classify animals. And fortunately, we are classified as an animal. Now, I just went over that, but yeah, this is basically something you need to know. Eukaryotic, multicellular, no cell wall, heterotrophs, and they're usually mobile at some point. So they must move. They must be able to move at least some point in their life. They can't be just like sitting over there and do nothing. They have to be able to move sometime in their life, maybe 20 or even 30, whatever. Invertebrates. I'm sorry. Sponges and cnidarians, though they have asymmetrical bodies, and they have sponges. Sponges have asymmetric bodies, of course. They have specialized cells that filter feed by circulating water. Cnidarians, on the other hand, they're like jellyfish and corals. They have a little bit of symmetry and stinging cells for capturing prey. They exhibit 2 body forms, Polypo and Medusa. Basically is free-floating ancestor. Now, one thing you need to remember, you don't have to care about anything I said about these 2, you just gotta know they have no backbone. Yeah, I just went over them. Sponges. Cnidarians. Worms. This is like... worms actually taste pretty good. So, maybe we could try that as a food one day. But they're soft-bodied. And they have a column, I'm pretty sure. They have a body cavity. And 2 body openings. They have a digestive system, of course, and they are essential for soil health and nutrition, since I didn't go over it. These arrows, they don't have any backbones either. You don't have to well, actually mollusks, but they have snails, clams, squids, whatever. They're soft, right? They often get protected by a hard shell. Hard shell, hard shell. This one is not that hard, but it's pretty squiggly. Now, their unique feature includes muscular foot for movement and a mass that contains organs, and sometimes a shell, of course. Now, echinoderms. I would pronounce that, but it could be echinoderms or I don't know. I sound it out as echinoderms, but it depends on your teacher. So they do have somewhat sort of symmetry. They're like you can see here, C stars symmetry. This, if you line them straight, we could cut it in half. This symmetry, symmetry. They have a spiny endoskeleton, which is pretty funny. They use water vascular system and tube feed for movement and feeding. These marine life, they are very important. Arthropods, we all know this, and I hate this. I hate this, and not maybe that, maybe not that, but I don't care. They're disgusting, and I don't like them, but you might like them. They're the largest animal phylum, actually. They include insects, spiders, crustaceans, whatever. They have segmented bodies, joined appendages, and a hard exoskeleton. They're extremely and absolutely incredibly diverse, and they exist in almost every single habitat on Earth. Arthropod, because it has so much, it was further down, separated. So it's further separated into 4 different groups. Chelicerates, which has 2 body segments, 6 pairs of joint appendages. Myriapods, they have. Wait, hold up. Yeah, they have each segment has a leg. It's a simple entity. Crustaceans, they have 5 pairs of joint appendages, and they have 2 pairs of and fewer body segments. Insects, we all know that, so I'm not actually no. 3 body segments, 3 pairs of legs, wings. We're gonna go into stuff that actually has a backbone now. Fish, vertebrates. They have gills for breathing, and fins right here. Now they're dividing into 2 types of stuff: cartilaginous fishes like sharks, bony fish, salmon. While bony fish, salmon, and tuna. Fish play a quite vital role because, well, they are a food source and they eat some other stuff. Now, it's time to talk about the little friend that we killed last year in grade 10. If you're taking class in in Ontario, you likely dissected a frog, which is pretty fun. So, amphibians like frogs, salamanders, they live part of their life cycle in water and some on land. They breathe through their skin. Breathe through their skin. Breathe through their skin. You gotta know this for your test. It's really, really important. They're sensitive and very, very, very sensitive to environmental changes, which make them pretty important indicators of the ecosystem health. Reptiles. Ooh, everybody loves one of these. They are really heavy, and usually, if they aren't good at attacking, they are good at defending. This includes snakes, turtles, crocodiles. They have body scales to prevent water loss, and they have lungs for breathing. And they internally fertilize. They have shelled eggs. This allows them to reproduce on land, and reptiles thrive in a variety of environments due to their attack or defend. That's defending and attack. That is, you can't even spot that, so it's pure attack and stealth. Now we're going to talk about birds. They're lovely. Alright, we all love birds. They all look cute. This is the only one here that looks cute. They're closely related to reptiles. Apparently, back in the days, we thought that dinosaurs, they either flew in the sky, or they could have been walking land animals. So essentially, we came up with a theory that, hey, you know what? Some dinosaurs evolved into big dinosaurs and big other animals that walk on land. And some just, hey, you know what? They're birds, so they didn't die from the Big Bang. So they become birds. Now, they have feathers for fly, and they have hollow bones, so they have lightweight movement, so they can actually fly. And they have a toothless beak. Now, birds, they're kind of like these dudes. They also lay eggs. And they have a 4-chambered heart, just like humans. And that is for efficient oxygen circulation, because when you're flying up there, the oxygen level is pretty low. Mammals, us. Oh, we didn't take a picture of us, but hey, we'll use this. This is your cousin. Okay. So we have we are endothermic vertebrates categorized by mammary glands, which means we produce milk for our next generation. I mean, I'm not gonna go too much, but some of us produce, some of us don't. So we usually have hair or fur or whatever, and we have a 4-chambered heart. Now, all of these animals, especially if you look at this and this and this and this, well, that's not really smart, but we usually have high developed brains, and we're really high diverse. All right, we have bats to kangaroos and literally back to humans. I can't even know that myself. Now, since mammals are really diverse too, they're divided into 3 groups. So monotremes, they are egg-laying mammals. Platypus. Now, I have a theory, and I'm sure a lot of people actually do. Oh, weird things. Every single weird things. If you have a plant or have an animal that can't live in North America, send him to Australia and he's gonna be living. Australia is like this land that serves as the weird animal. Like, it's a lab. They just constantly produce out the most weirdest animals ever. And literally anything that can't live in other continent, just send them to Australia, man. Mariopaus. Now, they are mammals with pouches, such as kangaroos. They carry their children around. And also, I'm pretty sure koala actually has one. But apparently their children are pretty stupid, so they can't get into it. Placental. They have a placenta. These develop fully in the womb. This includes us, humans, cats, most of elephants,